Hi, everyone. My name is Carly Flannery. I use she, her pronouns, and I am the Director of Prevention Education for Students in the Stanford Sexual Harassment / Assault Response and Education Title IX office. I wish I could be with you in person today, but since I am not, I am excited to be able to share what I had planned to present with you in this virtual format, and very grateful to Mari for being with y'all in person. On that note, I will begin with our presentation focusing on engaging in healthy relationships at Stanford. So why we're here today, this session that we have planned explores the cultural differences in expectations and experiences that international students may face when engaging in sexual, intimate, and/or romantic relationships. We hope to speak to engaging in these types of relationships in healthy and consensual ways, beyond just meeting policy expectations, which I'll speak to. And then finally, to share information about available resources and services, one of which is the confidential support team that Mari will speak to shortly. Finally, sexual harassment and sexual violence is a growing concern for many international students. So we want to share with you information about engaging in healthy sexual, intimate, or romantic relationships, and ensure that you have the information that you need should you encounter unhealthy or non-consensual interactions or look to support folks who have. So I want to speak just briefly to cultural differences. There's a quote that I would like to share that is, even within a single culture, the definition of sexual harassment is often misunderstood and is the subject of considerable debate. Defining the concept of sexual harassment becomes even more complex and controversial in multicultural environments, where culturally derived values and beliefs serve as norms that determine whether behaviors and feelings are appropriate and when they are not. Here at Stanford, of course, we are a very multicultural environment, so working to help folks have shared understandings, definitions, expectations, and an understanding of available resources is something that's important to help both folks be able to thrive and develop healthy relationships, and also to support folks who might encounter, as I named previously, unhealthy relationships or non-consensual interactions. I'm going to share a little bit about how expectations might differ across cultures. And the following examples are in no way meant to provide a comprehensive overview of the myriad of cultural responses to sexual harassment. Rather, they're meant to illustrate that a range of responses does indeed exist, a range that results in a variety of perceptions regarding the existence and handling of sexually harassing exposures. When we think of culture, we can take a nation versus nation perspective, but we can also analyze the culture of communities, specifically college campuses. I'd like to pause just for a few moments and allow y'all to reflect on what you know about United States college culture in specific regards to relationships, sex, parties, and sexual violence. So I will actually pause for a bit to let you reflect on that for yourselves. So You surely have been hearing about United States college culture in specific regard to partying, hooking up, and even sexual violence. But that is just one side of the story. The other side is that on our campus, both students and staff and faculty have undertaken major efforts to develop a respectful, consensual culture. It's something that is in continued development, but something that we do care a lot about. So what do we expect at Stanford? Stanford University is committed to providing an environment free of discrimination on the basis of sex and gender, including sexual harassment, sexual violence, relationship violence, and stalking. Sexual respect is a core value at Stanford. Members of our community have the right to live, work, and study in a safe and healthy environment. So respect and consent are at the core of what we expect. And you do have the opportunity to learn more about this in the online educational program that you'll complete called Sexual Assault Prevention for Graduate Students. But I did name that we're working to go beyond policy expectations. So I want to name what we're striving for. We want to move beyond simply being free of discrimination on the basis of sex and gender and free of violence towards something much bigger, which is communicative, consensual, healthy, enjoyable, fun, pleasurable, enthusiastic relationships, sexual and intimate experiences for all of our students and our entire community. This doesn't only need to exist in the context of sexual or intimate relationships. Consent in the everyday can look like some of the following examples. You can work to get everyone's input before planning group activities. You could be sure not to reveal personal information about anyone without their permission. You can obtain consent before engaging in non-sexual forms of touch, and you may encounter folks asking for consent before hugs or before other forms of touch as well. I encourage you to get consent before photographing others, and it's always, so many of these are, all of these are true in your own context as well. You deserve to ensure that your consent is received to have photographs taken or distributed of you, for example. Not forcing a discussion that someone doesn't want to have is a consensual behavior. Not pressuring anyone to accept anything from you, like a gift, for example. And you could also decide in advance how expenses will be split, whether that's a bill at a restaurant, rent, or something of the like. These are by no means exhaustive examples, but just a few to show you that consent doesn't only happen in sexual or intimate situations, but can happen in the everyday with friends, with classmates, with your fellow folks in the lab, with the faculty that you'll be working with. Consent is important, and you have the right to consensual experiences here at Stanford. We do have several videos on how to support and empower survivors, how to healthily support those who have been accused of causing harm, and on building a culture of consent, in addition to information about reporting experiences of sexual violence. We also do have a video on building safe digital spaces, which may be of interest to you as we continue in this hybrid environment. I do highly encourage you to either watch these videos on your own, share them with your lab to watch as a team, share them with residents in your housing, so that you not only will you develop skills, but your community can work to address harm and promote caring relationships as well. I will make sure that you have the most updated link to all of these videos as well, easily accessible. I do want to be sure that you have the opportunity to stay connected with us throughout the year. If you want to subscribe to our newsletter, the easiest way is to go to bit.ly/share supporters. You can also follow us on Instagram at share@Stanford. We share information about not only events that we have coming up, programs that we're doing, but opportunities to get involved. And there's educational tips and lessons as well that we share within our newsletter and on our social media. One upcoming opportunity that I do want to highlight is our open house along with the confidential support team at Kings Cope Gardens. So you're invited to come meet the staff of the Sexual Harassment/Assault Response and Education Title IX office, as well as of the confidential support team and other related resources on our campus. You can get a tour of the building so that you have familiarity with it. If you ever want to stop by or refer a friend to connect with us, and we're going to have Halloween cookies to decorate as well. That will be Wednesday, October 12th. At Kings Cope Gardens, which is really close to the Bechtel International Center, right across the street, actually, at 419 Lagunita Drive. So pictured here is myself and the rest of the professional staff of the Share Education team who focus on student prevention education. You can find contact information for specific staff members or schedule meetings at our website, share.stanford.edu. You can also email us at shareeducation@stanford.edu. And our phone number is listed there as well, 650-725-1056. We do also have student staff in our office, which you can learn more about on our website as well. I do want to close out my section before turning it over to Mari by sharing a few websites that you may want to make note of, as they are really helpful kind of clearinghouse of information related to these topics. So there is sexualviolencesupport.stanford.edu, relationshipviolencesupport.stanford.edu, and transgendersupport.stanford.edu. Please don't hesitate to ever access those websites to learn more about the resources that are available or to get in contact with those resources as well. I look forward to hopefully working with you throughout this year and getting to meet you in person. Please don't hesitate to reach out. I will just close by returning to the contact information and hope that you have a wonderful rest of International Graduate Student Orientation and wonderful rest of the year. Thank you.